Good morning, everyone. My name is Helena. I'm investment coordinator at Apex Brazil. Our mission is to promote Brazil as a destiny of foreign companies and investments. And today we will talk about to ScaleUp Brazil, a soft lending program for foreign high-tech startups that wants to come to set operations in our country. This program is a partnership between Apex Brazil, ABV Cap, and Israel Trade Investment. And for the next edition of the program, the third one, we have some news. Now I would like to invite Sergio from Apex to talk about the program, the stage, the results from past editions. And after this moment, I want to invite Chris from ABV Cap, and she will present the news for the next edition. So thanks again for being here. And Sergio, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Elena, very much. Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm happy to see some familiar names here joining the meeting. It's very important for us to have all of you here and keep working with us. As Elena said, we are going to share a little bit of our results from last year, from the past edition. And we have some news to tell you. However, let's wait a little bit and then I'll pass the word to Chris. So to start, over here, we are here to talk about ScaleUp in Brazil, which is the lending pad for innovative tech companies. We are supporting, for now, companies from Israel to join the Brazilian market, in which we have already done 2 editions. Julian, can you please pass, please?
Chris, you're sharing?
Yes. Can you see
Next
it?
slide, please.
Oh, next slide.
So for now, we were able in 2 batches out of the program, the one that we started in 2019, we were able to accelerate already 5 companies from Israel. And in the second batch, we were able to accelerate 10 companies, in which from this universe, 7 companies already set some sort of operations here in Brazil, hiring country managers, starting new productions here in the Brazilian economy. So for now, we have had very good results and we hope to keep with the same quality for the next editions. And what we provide to these startups. Chris, next slide, please.
Sorry, guys, it's showing to me. I don't know if it's showing to you. It's our value proposition for scale-ups. Is that what you see, Sergio?
No, I see only the accelerated companies.
Oh, gosh, there's a delay here.
I believe that maybe you're sharing a screen different than the one you're looking at, because you're not sharing the full screen. You're sharing the PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, no, okay, let me stop. Julia, can you share? Because I see a fully,
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julia. So considering that we have just accelerated 15 companies so far in the program, what do we deliver to these companies? How do we add value for them to start establishing their operations here in Brazil? We understand that they need customized meetings agendas. That's why we provide a consultancy on business development to these companies so they can have access to clients in the Brazilian markets. We provide them access to more than 200 corporations here in the Brazilian market, so they can have the possibility to go for proof of concepts and investments in new clients, of course. We provide a customized business strategy service. We hired a business strategy consultancy, so then each company that are coming to Brazil will have a specific plan to set up operations here in the country. We provide access to mentors in the Brazilian market. We understand that can be quite hard to know about the Brazilian economy. And that's why, in addition to the all workshops that we provide to the companies, we still provide one-on-one sessions with specific sectors between the company and service providers. Of course, that we understand that in order for a company to have success in setting operations in any country, they need access to local market. That's the reason that in partnership with ABV Cap, we put these companies in contact with the main VCs, corporates, and angel investors here in the Brazilian market. And of course, that as I just said, it might be quite tricky to join in the Brazilian market, not only regarding the business mindset, but as well the culture, the Brazilian culture itself. So then the company might have a soft landing here in Brazil. So far, how we have structured the program. So the program is divided in 5 different stages, in which in the first one, we start with a larger number of companies, in which we first provide an overview about the Brazilian market. We share information about marketing, about laws, about accountancy. So any sort of general information that the companies need to know. And then we move on for the second stage, in which we select a smaller number to keep with us in the program. We have support from investors in Brazil to help us to select which companies are staying. And then in the first immersion, they have the possibility to come to Brazil for 2 weeks. This first immersion is mainly dedicated to São Paulo ecosystem, and they are here for 2 weeks to meet their clients and to meet their potential investor. And then they return to their country, and then we go for the pivoting stage, in which they have enough time to change something in their solution and come back to Brazil in the next stage, so they can keep following on with their clients, with their investors, and with their potential partners. In the second immersion, we go to another ecosystems in Brazil, such as Minas Gerais, Santa Catarina, and Rio de Janeiro. And of course, that we understand that it takes time for a company to get to know the country better, and start doing their business and start getting in touch with their clients. That's why we keep for a couple of months providing program support for the companies that are joining us. And so far, the most important part, in my opinion, is the results that we were able to achieve in the last 2 editions. We were successfully able to accelerate 15 companies. We have provided them more than 300 business meetings with potential clients, and they were able actually to raise nearly $10 million for their operations here in Brazil. So we are very happy to share that our methodology, we've been very successfully on providing the company quality, and the quality that we've been providing, the companies are successfully establishing their business in Brazil. However, the program doesn't happen without partners, doesn't happen without you. And now I would like to ask Chris to come to the stage to share a little bit about this next edition and how we are really willing to keep working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergio. Welcome, bom dia, good morning to everybody here. And like Sergio said, the success and the results that you saw from the program would not be possible if we didn't have such a rich, connected partnership with like the principal players in the ecosystem. And why this is why all of these companies joined us in the previous editions. First, it's a good way to access international technologies without having to leave the country. So some of the partners that we talked with, they shared that with us. For others, they are actively looking for business partnerships, be it investments, acquisitions, new business units for their companies. So this is a good way for them also to access that. And thirdly, it's, as an entity, a BVCAP, Apex, and all the partners, and now with all the companies that participate in this program, is a way for us to support that the local innovation ecosystem is globally connected. So those are some of the reasons why partners like to join the program. Jo, let's go to the next one. And how partners can participate. So like Sergio said, we are going to the 3rd edition of the program. We have been making some changes along the way, in the past 2 editions. Those partner types that we have on the left side are the current ones. So right now we have corporates, we have investors, we have service providers, government agencies, associations, accelerators, and incubators. And the partners, they can help us and participate however is easier for them. So one of the opportunities is to participate as mentors. So in the last edition, we launched the mentorship programs. It's a one-on-one session, no longer than 60 minutes. And we define the themes that are most looked for from the companies. And then we share that with all the partners and see if anyone has interest in enjoying this mentorship program. Then we have a series of sessions. Most of them are online, and we're probably going to keep doing this, even though we're going to bring the companies back to Brazil. So we have a series, we have a very comprehensive agenda, and the partners also have the opportunity to participate as speakers in those sessions. Partners can also host the companies. So when the companies come to Brazil, they're going to have a series of meetings with potential clients. They're going to have some meetups. But if a partner is interested, they can host them in their headquarters. And we have done this in the past with a corporate firm. And for them, it was interesting to bring the companies and have them access different business units, the managers of different business units of the company. So, and you can also host lunches or dinners, of course, everything coordinated with the team. And we also have a selection committee. So some of the partners, and in this case, corporate and investors, they can join us in the selection committee as judges. And we have two evaluations. So first, we do a pre-evaluation of every company that registered to the program. And we select up to, I think it's 35 in the first stage for this new edition. And out of those 35, then we go on and we're going to select up to 20, which will be the companies effectively accelerated. So they're going to join the rest of the stages. And the next steps to join, we have shared this with you in the email. We have a very quick form. And if Ju, you want to do the clock there, it doesn't take more than 2 minutes for you to fill this out. And it's a good way for us to know what sectors you are interested in and what are the challenges that you're looking for to address, potentially in those companies joining the program. This is going to be taken in consideration during the evaluation process. And it's really important for us to know, and the more detail that we have about that, the better we can offer back to you. And I'm saying this, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to raise your hand and speak. And we also have agreement form, which also has been shared with you. It's a 1-pager, and regardless of the type of partnership that you're looking for, there are some minimum criteria that we ask, very minimum. So for us, it's important that we have that formalized and signed. We understand that for some companies, this might be a little difficult. And in those cases, we're going to work one-on-one. and see a parallel solution to it. So pretty much, if you want to be a partner, there are several options, and you can select all of them if you like, depending on the type of company you are. But if you just want to join and have your logo there and have access to these companies, but not actively participate as a speaker or as a mentor or in the selection committee, you can also do that. So we're very flexible. The idea is to get interested people with a high quality and credibility in the local market, because that enriches very much the program. So anyone has any question about? No? So we can move on, Drew. So like Helena and Sergio mentioned, we have some news for ScaleUp in Brazil, which we're really, really proud of. We're going global. So for the past 2 editions and Tsahi will talk a little more about that, but when we launched the program, we had a very strong relationship with Israel. We have gone to Israel in 2 missions, and we're both work in the same project without knowing. So we kind of like connected the dots, and we launched this program. So the first edition was a pilot, and it was with only Israeli companies. The second edition was meant to include other countries, but then COVID came, and we decided that it was best just to keep with Israel, which we already had a strong relationship with. We already had a 1 edition successfully run. And this year, we are actually opening up the program. So we have companies from Israel being able to join, from Japan and from Singapore. And each one of them will talk a little more and give an update about the local ecosystem, innovation ecosystem. The second is that we're going bigger. So like Sergio mentioned, we went from 5 to 10, and now it's going to be 20, trying to accommodate those countries. It's going to be a big challenge for us, but it's going to be very beneficial to all the partners. And third, we're going back to in person. So really sad that we couldn't, do handshakes. And even if we do like the little thing, I don't know, like, but to have that contact in person, the companies, they miss that. And the idea is that we're going back to welcoming those companies here in Brazil. So they're going to have 2 opportunities to be in Brazil. The first is going to be a 2-week period in São Paulo. And then in the second immersion, they're going to be for another 2 weeks. And then we're going to try to have them go to other innovation hubs in Brazil. So this is the timeline. Registration will open on March 7th and close in June. Then in July, we're going to have the announcement of the companies who is going to start stage 1. And after that, we're going to do a selection of the companies, the up to 20 companies who are actually going to join the rest of the program. So it ends next year, and that's the last part, which we call it stage 5, is to give time for us to do the follow-up. And really, we all understand that results is a long-term process. So this allows us to monitor the companies and see how the program has helped them. And let's scale up together. It's much more than a soft landing program. And we're truly all the partners, and now including Jetro and Enterprise Singapore, we believe there's a lot to do, that Brazil is a country, a market of a first option to several innovative tech companies, and we just want to work for it. So thank you very much for your participation. Now, Sergio is going to invite the other speakers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris. So as we have mentioned, the 2 first editions, we were successfully able to work with Israeli companies with the support of Israel Trade. And I would like to invite here Tsahi to share some Israeli perspective. And Tsahi, the floor is yours. You are very welcome.
Thank you, Sergio. Shalom, everyone. Bon dia. Good morning. Glad to be here with all of you. So as I was introduced, my name is Tsahi Reich. I'm the Economic Counsel here in Sao Paulo. Let me share my screen, please. There we go. So I manage here a trade office, which is part of a network of over 45 trade missions right now around the world, which is aimed to create bridges and trade connections between Israeli ecosystem and abroad. Specifically in Brazil, as this is a very important trade country with Israel, we have 2 trade missions where I manage the mission in Sao Paulo and my colleague Tali is managing the one in Rio. And together we give complete response for all the needs here in Brazil. So what is it that we basically do? Before Corona, during Corona, and hopefully soon to be after Corona, our main goal is to connect between companies, between entities, create business opportunities, whether through B2B meetings, delegations, participation in different events, creating different R&D infrastructure between the countries, and so on and so forth. And I'm guessing many of you have heard about Israel as the startup nation. And just to explain a bit about the ecosystem, we've grown a lot. We are at the stage where we have an engine that is creating on a yearly basis over 4,000 startups. We have over 300 multinationals that opened R&D centers in Israel, some of them also with manufacturing facilities. We are ranked relatively high in different grades of innovation, and as such, there is really abundance of technology that we can share with the world. But then, when we talk about Brazil, Brazil generally is not the first option for export for Israeli companies. And even when they come to Brazil, I saw that great companies that are doing great elsewhere in the world are not doing so great in Brazil. And when we started to evaluate and understand what is causing this, we fairly quickly understood that there is a very big business culture gap, which we have to answer. And when we screened the ecosystem, we understood that there is no program that is providing this unique bridge that is needed between the countries. And this is basically what led us to create and initiate the ScaleUp in Brazil program. So the challenge is I saw it is how to design a systematic process that will effectively support the tech companies in penetrating and later scaling into Brazil. And for this, we came to a meeting, and quite miraculously, without coordinating before, when we met with our great partners from Apex and ABV Cap, and shared with them our vision about this program, we understood that they have basically the same thing in mind. And as such, we decided to go forward and create this program. And as was shortly presented before by Chris and Sergio, we had really great outcomes until today. We had 2 batches, one was physical, one was completely digital. But when you talk with the Israeli companies, you can understand that we created a really good impact for them. For the ones that were lucky to come to Brazil, of course, business went forward much faster. But for the ones that went through a digital program, they still told us that without the program, they couldn't have had the impact and the connections that we created through the program. So we had really great success. We had a lot of POCs, some success stories. We created great network for the companies, and we established, and some of them established local presence with companies and in workforce. So, as you can understand, the program is continuously evolving. You can see that the previous logo, which was only with Israel, and now we're going global. And as it was presented, because the program has the impact that we wanted and is actually being done, the program has been doubling itself from one batch to another. So with the first one started with 10 companies and we accelerated 5. The second started with 20 and we accelerated 10. And this time we're going to be starting with 35 and accelerating 20. And not only the number of companies increased, also the number of countries. So I'm very happy to have Japan and Singapore to join us. I think it's going to be an amazing opportunity and it's going to create also a lot of other interactions that we're missing, which is making this program a global program. And I'm guessing that the impact is going to be much bigger. So we've been also increasing the partner network that we had. This program was designed in October 2018, launched 4 months after. So you can understand that at the beginning, in the first batch, we didn't have a very wide net of partners, but we've been growing it. And the idea is to continue and grow it because this is actually one of the most important parts of the program. We also decided that it's important to create a wish list bucket. So when we engage with the partners, we try to understand what challenges they have, what technology, what innovation they're looking for. And then we try to take this into account when we choose which companies should take part in the program. We also added the mentorship, which we didn't have at the beginning. As we saw, this was a need that the companies were sharing with us that was lacking in the first batch. And of course, we refine the program from batch to batch. We make sure that the content is accurate, is answering the real needs of the companies and improving continuously. So what's in it for you? I think a lot. First of all, I think this is, and of course I'm bribed, but this is the best program in Brazil if you want to interact with top-notch innovation. There is no better program. And now with Japan and Singapore aside to Israel, I think we're going to be really providing the best access to innovation. And we also connect with the ecosystem. So being part of the program is being part of the entire innovation ecosystem in Brazil. As was mentioned, there are mentorship opportunities. Of course, being part of such a program means that you're going international. So you're part of an international program and access to international entities. And of course, the branding. As I said, and I'm bribed, I know, but this is the best program to be part of. So I think an amazing opportunity for all of you, for those who haven't became our partner yet. I think don't hesitate. It is going to create for you a lot of value and a lot of opportunities. So with this, I will thank you and bring back the stage to Sergio.
Thank you very much, Chisahi. So as we've mentioned, from the third batch on, we're gonna have the team of Japan and Singapore joining the program. And I just would like to remember that at ScaleUp in Brazil, we have designed a methodology in order to choose in which markets we are working with. We consider several aspects, and Japan and Singapore were in the top of the list of potential companies and institutions that could come to scale up in Brazil and come to the Brazilian market. So for now, I would like to invite Josiah from Enterprise Singapore, in which is the institution that will be representing the Singaporean companies. So Josiah, if you could please share your screen and tell us a little bit, what should we expect from the innovation ecosystem in Singapore that will be coming to Brazil?
Thank you, Sergio. Can I confirm that my screen is on?
Yes, it's on.
Perfect. First of all, thank you so much to the Apex team and of course to Saki and our friends from Jethro for developing this program. We have been for 2 years being very envious of such a successful program that you guys have had, and we're finally very grateful that we're able to participate as the third batch this time around. So for those who don't know, I'm Josiah Choi. I'm from Enterprise Singapore. We are part of the Ministry of Trade and Industry in Singapore. We are the agency that helps local enterprises build capabilities, capture new opportunities across different sectors and markets, and more importantly, to help them to become more globally competitive. Very similar to what Israel Trade and Investment does, we also, our mission is really to grow Singapore enterprises and help them internationalize. We have four main pillars, which is building resilience, tapping on global opportunities, which is primarily what our office based out of Sao Paulo does. And also we are in charge of the whole trade orchestration and the innovation and technology ecosystems back in Singapore. I don't have the slide of our map on where we have presence, but we have around 37 offices abroad. In Latin America, we have 2, one based out of Mexico and the other one based out of Sao Paulo, where I'm taking point on this one. Jumping into a little bit of what the Singapore startup ecosystem is at a glance, we have grown quite substantially over the last decade or so. In 2012, we had 3,400 tech startups, and as of last year, we have grown to close to 5,000 startups. In a short span of time, we have been able to groom 12 unicorns. One of them, which is C Group, is already operating in Brazil through companies like Shopee and Garena. We have also dedicated quite a lot of resources into venture funding and activities. Again, from 80 deals in 2012 to what we have over 300 deals, catalyzing about $2.5 billion 2 years ago. A little bit of our ranking, we are ranked number 2 in Asia, number 8 globally, right after South Korea, then there's Singapore, followed by China. And in such a small country of 5.7 million of population, we are able to house over 200 incubators, accelerators in Singapore alone. Again, out of these, we have 46 corporate incubators from large multinationals, which you're all very, very familiar with, as well as 300 venture capital investors with regional presence in Southeast Asia. So basically a role, we break it down in 8 parts. We particularly for the startup ecosystem in Singapore, what we do is we provide smart money and growth capital. We are also finding always new ways on how can we grow human capital and talent. As you know, Singapore is such a small nation. We have 700 square kilometers, and that's the entire country. We have very little resources, natural resources, and therefore we have been we have the need to catalyze or improve a lot on our human capability. We also provide different forms of mentorship, support. We facilitate connections and also assist Singaporean companies to expand, particularly in Latin America. Some of the, apologies for this. Some of our initiatives in recent years have been to create what we call global innovation alliances. We have created quite a fair bit of them all over the world. Unfortunately, in Latin America, we don't have one yet, and we are hoping that through this ScaleUp in Brazil, this initiative, we are able to light up this whole region. Another thing that I would like to share with you is that every year we have a lot of exciting events. More importantly, we have the Singapore Week of Innovation and Technology, and throughout the year, we will be sharing a little bit more on the information of that. If you don't know anything about Singapore in terms of the startup, we have created a national directory of the tech startup ecosystem. If you go onto the website, you're able to find anything that you need to find in terms of how to incorporate, what kind of government support schemes you're able to tap on, and so on and so forth. With that, I conclude my very quick presentation. So over to you, Sergio.
Thank you so much, Josiah. And now I would like to invite Jethro, representing the Japanese companies. We all know that the potential, the technology potential that Japan has to offer to the world. And we are very pleased to have Japan joining the program on behalf of Jethro. So Matsudaira-san, I would like to invite you, please share a few words about Jethro and what to expect from the startup ecosystem in Japan that will be coming to Brazil.
Thank you very much, Sergio. I'm sharing. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Bon dia. Good morning for everyone. My name is Matsudaira from Jethro São Paulo. Thank you very much for this opportunity today. And once again, I would like to express my, I express my deepest gratitude to Apex Brazil, ABCAP, Israel Trade for inviting us to be a member of this program, ScaleUp in Brazil. Thank you very much. So I would like to talk a little about Jethro and the ecosystem surrounding startup in Japan. So first of all, Jethro is a government-related organization under the supervision of the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, METI, and we promote trade and investment. At present, we have 76 offices in 55 countries. One of our pillars is to support the creation of innovation through direct investment in Japan and support for the overseas development of startups. In the past few years, the need for innovation has increased. So this is one of the main pillars of our efforts to help Japanese companies. So now Jethro has set up a one service global acceleration hub in 29 locations, including São Paulo. This is an individual support program that provides a free charge service for Japanese startups to expand their business overseas. So in Jethro São Paulo's case, we are working with a partner company, Brazil Venture Capital, to provide an introduction to Brazilian market through briefing and mentoring. For example, the marketing tendency, structure, and the market barriers, as well as the consultations with lawyers and accountants as needed. So in terms of the matching, we offer meeting opportunity for Japanese startups. So already 11 Japanese startups have participated in the pitch demo day in Brazil in last September. So now let me tell you about the current state of the startup ecosystem in Japan. At first, according to the 2021 ecosystem ranking by city, Tokyo has risen from 15th place in last year, 9th place. And according to the 2020 statistics, the number of business capital alliance between Japanese corporate and startup companies is rapidly increasing. This means the innovation has started in Japanese market. So now I would like to share with you some of the factors and data behind this movement. So according to WIPO, WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization data, the global science cluster by city, the area Tokyo and Yokohama, are ranked first in terms of the number of the patent application fields. Japan is also ranked as the best place to set up R&D bases in Asia. These factors are said to be responsible for the birth of Japanese advanced technologies. However, from the perspective of investment, there is a very harsh reality. Japan is represented here by Tokyo, but of course there are other ecosystem center in Japan. As I mentioned earlier, despite the high level of technology demonstrated, the amount of investment is low compared to other countries. The Japan ecosystem attracts a limited amount of foreign investment compared to startup hubs in other countries. Japan, for that matter, has some remarkable assets that make it competitive, such as access to world-class universities, corporate and government network. However, there is still work to be done to create enough competitive global startups. In addition, the data is the upper left shows that the business opening rate is low compared to other countries. And according to the report of the World Bank Group, number of funded startups also very low. Despite this steady growth, Japan's startup ecosystem is very small in relation to the leading global startups hubs. Compared with other large metropolitan areas, Japan has a lower number of internationally competitive startups. And its investment activity falls behind other cities. As such, the ecosystem relies on domestic investment and resources increasing the bias toward domestic focus and limiting growth. So Japan needs to grow further in the future and still to do business in overseas markets. And the financing aspect is also different from other countries. Globally, the most popular method of exiting is M&A. In contrast, in Japan, the ratio of M&A to IPO is about 3 to 7. This is a trend not seen in any other country or region. So, and the Tokyo Stock Exchange Mothers has been supporting the first growing venture companies to list in Japan since 2011. Mothers has been used as a place for startups and other companies to raise funds without being bound by listing criteria such as company size, years in business, or industry, etc. I think this tendency is one of the reasons why we haven't looked for too many foreign investors. However, according to recent media reports, foreign investors are becoming more interested in investing in Japanese startups. According to a survey 2021 by the Venture Enterprise Center, 73.6% of responding startups, Japanese startups, are interested in foreign markets. And according to the result of this survey, there were no business opportunity in Latin America, as I believe that the Japanese startup will have an opportunity to open business to Latin America by creating successful cases through this program ScaleUp in Brazil. So Japan still has a long way to go, and Japan is a slightly different market compared to the two countries that participate in this program, Israel and Singapore. But we look forward to working with you from now on. Thank you very much for your attention and giving us this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Matsudaira-san, and to the whole team of Jetra Enterprise Singapore. We are very happy to have all of you here to start doing this amazing job with us. And before opening for questions, I just would like to emphasize that the program doesn't happen without you, partners of the program. So by now, you must already have the form if you want to keep, and if you are not a partner yet, if you want to become partner with us, just fill the form. It takes no longer than 2 minutes. And of course, that you can reach us at any moment, that we can share more information about the program itself and other ways to collaborate if you think on something else. So please keep with us and let's make this program each time bigger and better. So I would like just to ask if someone has a question. The floor is open to anyone.
Sergio,
May
as they
I,
think,
or
oh, yes, please.
yeah, well, thank you very much, everyone, and congratulations for Apex and ViviCap for this wonderful opportunity for other countries' startups. I am Mitsuru from Brazil Venture Capital. I'm doing working with Jetro, inviting like a Japanese startup to know better of the Brazilian market. So my question is, I think I can think of like a 20 to 30 Japanese startup who might be interested in this program, but they are in a different stages in terms of entering to Brazilian market. One is like a just starting, like a studying or like a researching opportunity. And the second would be they have some like a distributors or like a representative in Brazil. And third one is that they have some small teams in Brazil. So what level is adequate to appropriate to apply for this program, and what kind of stage are you looking for to support better?
You can go, Chris.
So Mitsuru, it's very nice to see you here. So thank you for joining us. I hope you become a partner now that we represent Japan here. The stage of the company, we would like them to be operational. Most of the companies that have joined us, they are within Series A. So we have some variations, and then we analyze case by case. Companies that already have an entity, CNPJ in Brazil, they should not join the program. But like from what you said, they have a representative, but they are not established right here in Brazil yet. So in this case, yes, they should apply for the program.
Okay, and that leads to another question. By the way, I'm just like completing the form to be a partner. So for Japanese entrepreneurs coming to Brazil, like spending 2 weeks here, it would be a kind of like a well, it's a high commitment, but same time it can like interrupt local operation in Japan. Is it possible for like these startups to bring someone, not necessarily the CEO of the company, joining this 2 weeks program in Brazil, the presidential one?
You mean like not the founder, they send someone else for
Yeah,
this?
like a local representative who is working for Brazilian market, not necessarily that person is in Japan, or he might be, or she might be located in Brazil, for example.
That depends on the company. I mean, it's important that this person, has a relationship with the company, because of course, and we've seen that happen. We had I think it was Cyber Reason, right? Sahi, if I'm not wrong. And then also Cyber Reason, and there's another one. I'm sorry, I'm lost in my memory a little bit. They had a local person join. So what they did, the founder participated in part of the sessions, and then he brought in this person from Brazil to join the remainder of the sessions. So yeah, I mean, we just ask the commitment, right? Like the person has to participate, to be involved, to be engaged. This is a very important item. The companies, they have to participate in 80% of the content, whatever they are, of the program, because otherwise it's not effective. We're spending a lot of human resources, financial resources to make this happen. So we ask for all companies to be committed.
Okay, understood. Thank you very much.
Anyone else?
Yeah, any additional questions?
Well, I wanted to share also, given this is a year that we can travel, that we can receive people. I mean, we're still trying with this little awkward beginning of the year. So we already have in the plans missions to the 3 countries. We haven't made official changes yet to the dates. We're gonna be going to Israel at the end of March. And the idea was to go to Japan and Singapore in the beginning of April, that might change, and we're gonna let everyone, because we are of course monitoring the security requirements and everything related to COVID and how if we can go or not. But partners are welcome to join us in those missions should you be interested. So pretty much when we go to those countries, we want to activate the principal players. This is something that we're doing with each entity, Israel, Jetro, Enterprise Singapore, so they can help us reach, more qualified companies to apply to the program. And in doing so, we're talking about Brazil, and no one better than you guys to help us, make the story and talk about Brazil and the ecosystem. So should anyone be interested, this is also a benefit that we should include in the in the slide. You may join us in those missions. So we're gonna share the dates, and we probably in the next 2 weeks we're gonna redefine if we have to make any changes and share it with you. And those missions are 1 week long, just so you know, about 4 to 5 days.
Perfect, Chris. Thank you. So if there aren't additional questions, that's it. I would like to thank all of you for staying here with us until now. And please fill the form and let's keep in touch and see you soon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you in Singapore.